guys, welcome back to Magic TV. It's Friday, it's 9 o'clock, which means it's time for another video. Now, up until about 6 months ago, Friday nights were all about rants. Every Friday night I'd do a rant and I'd get angry about something that annoyed me in the Magic community. Now, I stopped that about 6 months ago, and since then, the Friday night slot has been kind of a mixture. It's been a hodgepodge. Sometimes it's a behind-the-scenes video, sometimes it's a review show revisited or an extra review show special. Sometimes it's just kind of like a vlog. It very much depends. I thought I'd try something a little bit different this Friday because you know what? I don't feel I'm giving enough love to the people that hate me on this channel since I stopped doing the rants. Here's the thing, let me explain. Every week on a Sunday at 12 o'clock, I do a Q&A and I take everyone's questions and I answer them to the best of my ability. And it's one of the most popular videos on the channel. Everybody loves it and that's all well and good and that's great. But you know what? I get tons of questions and I get tons of stuff from haters on this channel. Now, what I've been doing for the last 6 months is I've basically just been ignoring all of these comments because for every comment that has something that's kind of negative, there's literally 20, 30 comments saying, oh, I love the channel. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. And you know what? I had so many people come over to me at the Wessex Magic Convention and they said to me, you know what? I'm entering competitions because of your channel, or I'm doing this because of your channel, or I'm doing that because of your channel. It's very humbling, it really is. And I've said it before, you know, I sit here and I film these videos and I don't realize the impact it has on people until I actually go and speak to you guys. And that's so cool to hear. But I feel like I've left the haters out a little bit. I'm not addressing them anymore. I think they feel a little unloved. And I don't think that's fair. So I thought I'd try something special. I'm going to do an alternate Q&A. Now, this is basically taking all of the haters' questions that they've got. I'm not going to take all of the ones that are just shouting and screaming and swearing and, hey, you're a knob or whatever it may be. But, you know, some of them have got questions. Some of them have got questions. And so what I thought I'd do is I'd do an alternate Q&A. Now, I am not doing the rants on this channel anymore. The best thing I ever did was stop the rants. This channel is all about positivity. This channel is all about moving forward and helping people move forward as well. However, you know, although I'm not going to do rants anymore, and this isn't going to be a rant, to be clear, if you're expecting a rant here, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But I don't think I need to, you know, very occasionally, every once in a while, you know, they're taking the time to create a fake account. They're taking the time to sit there and create a fake account. And most of the people that comment on this stuff, it's so funny because there's no profile picture, and then you look at the person who's made it, and it's like account created a week ago, or created 2 weeks ago. So these people, they're taking the time to create a fake account. They're taking the time to post something negative about me or my channel or my family, and I'm just basically ignoring them, and I don't think that's right. I think I need to address some of the stuff that people are saying. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, this is the alternate Q&A. It's going to be a one-off. It's going to be the Q&A for the haters. So we'll see how this goes. If you like it, we might do it again. But without further ado, let's get on with this edition's questions. So the first question is from Shay Blades, and he's got an actual picture, so he might be a real person. And Shay says, why are you such an ignorant prick? So that's what Shay says, why are you such an ignorant prick? Now, what I kind of find quite interesting about this, quite funny, is that he posted that on the magic stuff that I did last Thursday, which is 3 tricks from Spoiler Alert by Ryan Matney that you haven't seen before, which was a video that I was highlighting a book that a lot of people hadn't seen. And I went there and I was like, hey, this is a book that you guys might not have seen. Let me perform 3 of the tricks out of this book because I'd like more people to get this book because I think it's awesome. I find it kind of interesting that Shay decided on that video to ask why I'm an ignorant prick, because there's some videos that you could go on and say, why are you an ignorant prick, Craig? And it would absolutely be the right thing to ask. But on that one, I don't think I'm doing anything that's that ignorant. You know, I'm kind of showing people that I know about a book that a lot of people don't know. I'm performing this stuff for people. And the comments on that video were great. You know, off the back of it, I've had so many people that want to see more performances out of books, and they want to see more performances of Ryan Matney material. So I don't really understand why it was that particular video that triggered him. I just imagine Shay, you know, sitting in his room or something, and he's on his laptop and, you know, he's doing some work or whatever it may be. I don't know who Shay is. I don't know what he does, but he's sitting there and suddenly Magic TV pops up and it's me, and it's like, hi, my name's Craig, and today I'm going to do 3 videos, 3 tricks from Spoiler Alert by Ryan Matney. I'm going to be performing these tricks. I'm going to tell you why they're so good. Why are you such an ignorant prick? Like, I genuinely don't know what triggered him on this one, to be perfectly honest. But Shay, I'm going to answer your question. Why am I such an ignorant prick? It's hard work, man. You got to try really hard. You know, you got to try really, really hard to be as much of a prick as me. And when it comes to being ignorant, you know what? I am. There's a million things I don't know. There's a billion things I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know anything about nuclear physics. I don't know anything about... there's so many different things I don't know. I'm ignorant of 99% of the stuff that goes on in this world. I mean, I'm not ignorant about everything. I know about magic, probably more than you. I know about marketing. I know about business, probably more than you. And I guarantee you, I can perform. I have a working knowledge of about 55,000 more tricks than you have. But you're right. I'm ignorant. And, you know, we all are at the end of the day. Why am I such an ignorant prick? It's hard work and dedication that got me to this point. Okay, so the next question is from H-Sun Street Magician. H-Sun Street Magician, and he's commented on the Chop official trailer. So when I released Chop through Penguin Magic, we brought out the official trailer, and he's commented on there. And let's see, it's kind of a long comment, so I'm going to read it all out to you. Sorry it's so long. If you're out of ideas, recycling tricks are always a solution for the creatively challenged. All you have to do is invest in fancy advertising and pay for a stooge's reaction, faking an overselling reaction, and then you're ready to go for sell and selling it at a high price to an amateur new on magic. These are already existing tricks. Chop Dough by Jay Natra and Coffee Cup Chop Cup by Leo Smesters. Enough of us watching the demo to know how it's done and that you fake the reaction. $40 is way too high for disposable cups and some tiny magnets. So Craig just added a hidden magnet in the Sharpie. The performance is too obvious. Why the hell the Sharpie needs to stay holding in my hand during the performance? Isn't it too obvious? Okay, so obviously he's talking about Chop, and well done, H-Sun, well done. You figured out how the trick's done. Good for you, buddy. Let's see if we can break this down a little bit for you, because you got a few questions here. Recycling trick. So first of all, I'm not recycling Chop. It's a new trick. It's the same gimmick, but I've completely redone absolutely everything. I've redone the sleights with it. There's 5 or 6 new sleights, which means that the actual routine has evolved. Also, I think I'm a better performer than I was 11 years ago. So the performance is a lot better in my opinion, and you know, my timing and my just the way I deliver it is a lot better, I think, anyway. But then there's all the new material. So the coins across is something that I absolutely love. It allows you to do a coins across into the spectator's hand, like using the Chop gimmick, which is really super exciting. The mystery card is something that I use in every single gig. You know, having the ability to just drop a folded card into a cardboard cup and then do whatever you want to do, and then you show that that's the signed card, or have somebody think of a card and it's the card inside the cup, all of that sort of stuff. In my opinion, it's worth its weight in gold. If you're recycling something, you're just bringing out the same thing again. I didn't do that with Chop. I brought out a brand new project, which is why it's almost a 2.5-hour tutorial. So that's the first thing. And then you talk about, I invest in fancy advertising. We didn't really invest in fancy advertising. I went to Penguin. They shot it in Penguin. The fancy advertising I think you're talking about is a trailer. Well, we went to a bar with a camera crew. It's not really fancy advertising. Fancy advertising would be putting it on a billboard and paying for it absolutely everywhere. They did the same thing with this trailer and this trick that they did with every single trick that they bring out. They shot a trailer, they uploaded it, and they sent it to their mailing list. It's not exactly fancy advertising. I don't know where you're kind of coming up with that one there. I love this one. Paying for stooges in the audience that fake overselling reactions. Dude, every single person in that trailer, every single person in a live performance was not faked. And the fact that you say that fills me with so much joy. I know you made this comment to make me annoyed, but dude, the fact that you think that my performance, the only way I could get a reaction like that was by having a stooge or having it faked, dude, that's the biggest compliment you could ever pay me. Thank you so much. Go and ask Eric Tate. Go and ask Nick LaCoppa. Go and ask Nick Poper. Go and ask Sean Dunn. Go and ask Mandy. Go and ask anybody who works at Penguin Magic. Go and ask them if those reactions were faked. I just walked into a bar that I'd never been to before. I walked over to a group of people that I've never seen before, and I performed Chop, and those were the reactions I got. And do you know why I get those reactions every single time I perform it? A, it's a bloody good trick, and B, that's what I do. I am a professional magician. I go out and I get hired to go and get those reactions every single time. Go and look at the live performances on the 5x5s. Go and look at the live performances on my own channel. Go and look at absolutely everything. I get those reactions every single day because that is what I'm paid to do. I don't fake my reactions. It's so funny that you're so annoyed about Chop that you're like, he's paying for fancy advertising. It's fake reactions. Craig Penny. Oh my God, I hate it. He fakes. Dude, it's so funny, man. And then there's the best bit. These are already existing tricks. Chop Dough by Jay Natra and Coffee Cup Chop Cup by Leo Smestas. Now, I'm guessing you don't have Chop, but you've kind of listened to the stuff on online, and you kind of have a rough idea of what it is, because later on you say $40 is way too high for disposable cups and some tiny magnets. Craig has just added a hidden magnet in the Sharpie. So you kind of obviously realise that it's got a magnetic Sharpie, right? So you kind of realise that, but you say $40 is too high to pay for disposable cups and some tiny magnets. Well, first of all, the Sharpie has been specially made. It's not just a tiny magnet. It's a special magnet that's been designed specifically to fit a particular point, and it is a particular strength. It is not done by design. We have not just given you a tiny magnet and said, shove that into a Sharpie. There's a lot more to it than that. And you don't get any disposable cups because you use your own cups. But why you compare it to those two tricks, I don't know. Chop Dough by Jay Natra is a chop cup built into a Play-Doh cup. So you have to have the Play-Doh cup with you. It's a normal chop cup, but it's built into a Play-Doh cup. That is a normal chop cup, right? And Coffee Cup Chop Cup by Leo Smestas is a normal chop cup built into a coffee cup. These things are they're chop cups just built into different stuff, right? What this is a system that allows you to borrow a cup and be able to do the routine with any normal cup, a ceramic cup, a glass, a cardboard cup, with absolutely anything. So now, for the first time ever, you don't have to use a crochet ball or a piece of Play-Doh. You can borrow a dollar bill, you can borrow any cup, and you can go into this routine anytime, anywhere. So why you say this already exists and you just name two random chop cups, I don't really understand, because that's like comparing apples and oranges. It's like you don't really fully understand what you're talking about. It's kind of like you got mad about this whole situation. You saw that, I think it was the same as the first guy. You were sitting at home and the chop trailer came up and you're like, it's that Craig Penny. I hate that Craig Penny. Oh, fake reactions, fake reactions, fake reactions. Craig got fake reactions. Oh, look, this has been done before. Look, hang on, let me Google chop cups. This has been done before. Dude, calm down, man. Calm down. Yeah, Chop Cup has been around for a long time. We stand on the shoulders of giants. But guess what? And this is the other thing, by the way. Even if Chop Dough and Coffee Cup Chop Cup, even if they were exactly the same, and even if they were too similar to Chop, and even if you're right, which you're not, but even if you were, Chop came out 11 years ago, dude. That came out before either of those two products that you're talking about. So if this is too similar to those other two products, they're ripping me off. But they're not, because it's not too similar, because it's a totally different thing. It's completely different. It's like comparing apples and oranges. And then your last point, why the hell the Sharpie needs to be held in my hand? Well, that's why you pay your $40, because you see the routine makes sense, because you see you have the pen in your hand, because you borrow a dollar bill, and the pen is there so you can get them to sign the dollar bill, okay? And then the pen is in play, and you've had a reason to have the pen in play, and then you crumple up their dollar bill and you switch it for the gimmick, and now you're good to go, and you've loaded the lemon right to the very beginning of the routine, so you're way ahead of the audience, and then you've already got the pen in play, so it all makes sense, it's all organic, and then you take the dollar bill and you put it in, and there's a reason why everything takes place, the routining and the structure behind there, it all makes sense. But you know what? I haven't got time to teach you the basics of misdirection. I haven't got time to teach you the basics of routining, and I absolutely haven't got time to teach you the basics of justification. If you want to learn this stuff, you can either buy Chop for $40, and that's absolutely fine, but it sounds like you need help on this stuff. So you know what? Why don't you go to www.thenetrix.com and sign up for the silver package, and then you can learn all about misdirection, and then you won't come across as a mindless idiot. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. This isn't a rant, but you're talking crap here, dude, and you're making yourself look bad. You know, maybe educate yourself, get some education, sign up to something like the NETRIX, understand what you're talking about. Because I tell you what's going to happen, man, in 5 or 6 years' time, you're going to look back at this comment and you're going to go, oh, I was a complete and total idiot. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said that. And I know that because I've done that. I've looked at comments that I made 5 or 6 years ago and I'm embarrassed I made them. Luckily, comments that I made 10 or 11 years ago was before the internet, and I'm not going to have it following me around the internet forevermore. While now, your ignorant comments have been immortalized on Magic TV forever. Well done. Okay, so here's the next one. This is the next comment, and this went on the Quantum Deck official trailer. So the last one was on the Chop trailer. This was on the Quantum Deck trailer, okay? And obviously we know, you know, I've got a tattoo on my arm, we know this. Luke Dancy and I went back and forth about the Quantum Deck and whether it's examinable, it's not examinable. And I thought we'd put this to bed, but this guy, you know, wants to bring it back up again. I'm not going to touch on the Quantum Deck anymore, but, you know, a couple of people have still got a bee in the bonnet about this, which is terrible, but that's fine. But this is, you know, he's got a voice. Let's hear what he's got to say. This is my opinion of the Quantum Deck. I am experienced, not as a magician, but very experienced with cards. Great concept, lousy performance. The magician is a liar. Deck not examinable. The magician struggles to perform simple math. The magician wrote a stupid script that gives away the trick. The deck is very poorly manufactured. Video instructions do not recommend the best possible performance. The deck cannot perform. The deck cannot perform. I don't know. The deck cannot perform unless you're on Zoom or 50 meters away on the stage. I made my own deck after 30 minutes of watching the video, and it works well. I bought the trick to support the magic industry. I am not a magician, and I don't support the people who, instead of fooling, they cheat the public. Don't buy it. The trick is good. Make your own deck with gaffed cards. I mean, honestly, dude, I don't know you, but you're just completely tripping over everything you're saying here, man. Like, you're just completely tripping over. So first of all, you're not a magician, but you're experienced with cards. But then first of all, I don't even understand. You say you're not a magician. You say you're experienced with cards, but you're not a magician. Okay, so you're not a magician. And then later on, you say you're not a magician, but you bought the trick to support the magic industry. What? What? Hang on. You bought the trick to support the magic industry, but you're not a magician. You know what? I'm not a nuclear physicist, and I'm sure as hell not going to be buying something to support the nuclear physics industry because I couldn't care less about it. There's a load of people that are into that sort of stuff. I'm not one of them. I don't understand. You're not a magician. It's so important that you say that. You say it twice. I'm not a magician, but you want to support the magic industry, but you don't support the people who, instead of fooling, they cheat the public. So you're saying that I cheat the public. I'm guessing because you think that I'm wanting to sell more of these or something. I don't know. You do get that I do like 27 videos a week for free on this channel, right? Giving away advice and support and guidance on every aspect of magic for free. right? This is basically what I spend most of my time doing now. Like, but that's not the only inconsistency. The last bit is, don't buy it. The trick is quite good. Make your own deck. So don't buy it. The trick is quite good, but make your own deck. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Right. So what you're saying is the trick's good, but don't buy it. Make your own deck. So what you're basically saying is it's a good trick, but people shouldn't buy it. Instead, they should make their own deck. So that's the last thing you say. Don't buy it. The trick is quite good. Make your own deck. So what you're saying is it's a good trick, but don't support the creator. Don't be one of those people that supports the creator. Don't be one of those people. And you say you love, you want to see, this doesn't make any sense. You say you want to support the magic industry. You say you want to support the magic industry, but then you're saying at the end, the trick's quite good, but don't buy it, make your own. How is that supporting the magic industry? It's not. That's doing exactly the opposite. If the magic industry is over here and you walk this way to support it, telling people to not buy the trick and make their own is exactly the polar opposite of what you're telling people that you want to do. Do you see what I mean about inconsistencies? You then say at the beginning, it's a great concept, right? You say it's a great concept, but then afterwards you say the deck cannot be performed unless you're on Zoom or 50 meters away on stage. The deck cannot be performed unless you're on Zoom or 50 meters away on stage. But then you say it's a great concept and it's a great trick. Well, dude, if it's a great concept and a great trick, but you can't perform it on Zoom, you can't perform it unless it's Zoom or miles away, it's not a great trick. It's not a great trick. Make your mind up. If it's a great trick and it's a great concept, like you said it is, why are you then saying you can't perform it in most situations? And regarding not being able to perform it in most situations, there is an hour of performance footage on the tutorial where you see me performing it at weddings in front of people that are sitting right there next to me. And I'm not just talking about one performance and I got lucky. There's like 10 performances. Forget about the stuff that I did on Zoom to magicians. Let's just forget about that. There's performances to real people in gigs where I've had huge tips for going and performing and I've done this trick. How can you say it can only be done on Zoom when you see the performances? I've just come back from the Wessex Magic Convention where I was performing this to people all over the Wessex Magic Convention. I was in the dealer room all day performing Quantum over and over again. And people were handing over money. And people were handing over, oh, well, they weren't handing over money to me, by the way. I didn't even have any. I still haven't had my stock, but I jumped on the Alakazam stand. They had about 10 or 11 of them. And you can ask Peter Nardi. He had 10 or 11. People were coming over and saying, can I see Quantum? Peter said, can you show it to them? I demmed Quantum. Within half an hour, every single one of them had been sold. Now, to be clear, I didn't turn around to the magicians that came over to the Alakazam stand and say, yes, I will show you Quantum, no problem. Can you do me a favor? Can you stand over there, please? I'd like you to stand at the end of the room so you can watch this. I didn't say to them, yes, no problem. Can you go in the other room? I'm just going to set up a video camera so you can watch it over Zoom. I didn't say that. People came over to the stand. They were standing right next to me. I did Quantum and they bought it. Now, this isn't a magic convention where magicians are spending money. Magicians who, by the way, don't like spending money. Magicians don't part with money very easily unless they see something that they like. They came over to me. They saw the trick this close. They saw it perform. They didn't see anything and they bought it. And yet you're saying to people that you can only do it from 50 meters away. Well, what about the people that bought it at Wessex then? Or what about the people that saw me perform it live at the Magic Circle headquarters over and over again, who were sitting there right next to me and I was performing it for them? What about those people? What about the thousands of people who I perform it to in gigs? Like, I'm fine with criticism, but dude, it's the same thing as dancing. When you start telling absolute, complete and total lies, that's when it starts to just get silly. And that's what this is, dude. It's silly. You're contradicting yourself all the way through this half-baked statement that you've made, which I've seen you've posted on 3 or 4 review shows. You know, anybody who's reviewed the Quantum deck, you've put this post on their channel. You know, you've obviously got a problem with me, and that's cool, man. I'm like Marmite. I have been described by a lot of people as Craig Petty's like Marmite. You either like him or hate him. You hate me, that's fine. I don't mind. I can tell from here, not everybody can like everybody. But here's the thing, dude. If you're going to have a go at me, at least pick on something that you can actually be factually accurate about. Call me fat if you want to. Tell me I'm ugly. Tell me I've got bad teeth. Do whatever the fuck you want to do, dude. But don't tell me that the quantum deck can't be performed unless you're 50 feet away. Come on. And then you go on about the deck's not examinable. I'm not even going to touch that with a barge pole. You know, this has been done to death. If you don't think that you can hand this deck out to people and have them examine it, I'm sorry. Well, you're not a magician. You've actually said that. Sorry. You're not a magician, are you? You just like supporting the magic industry, but you're not a magician. So you wouldn't understand the concept of passive gaffed decks. But, you know, let me explain something to you. You know what? I haven't got time to explain it to you. It's the same as the other guy. If you want some advice on passive gaff decks and how to hand stuff out, go to www.thenetrix.com. You can support the magic industry by buying a subscription. Okay? I struggle with simple math. All right, okay, whatever. No, I don't, but that's fine. And then I love this one. The magician is a liar. Why? Whatever. And then these two are the best ones. Lousy performance, and the magician wrote a stupid script that gives the trick away. Okay, so I wrote a stupid script. How? I wrote a stupid script that gives the trick away. How? Can you please clarify that? Can you point out where in the scripts I give the trick away? I'd really like to know that. And as for the lousy performance, which performance are you talking about? Are you talking about the 5 or 6 performances from wedding gigs that are on the tutorial, where I've already been rebooked for numerous other gigs because the client loved me so much? Or are we talking about the 2 performances I did on stage at Smoke and Mirrors, or the 3 performances I did in the bar at Smoke and Mirrors? You know, that same place that Mark Bennett keeps asking me to come back to, because when I go there, I absolutely light up the audience. Everybody loves me and he wants to rebook me. And by the way, every magician wants to get into Smoke and Mirrors, and he rebooks me because I do a good job. Are we talking about those performances? Maybe I should listen to you over Mark Bennett. You know, Mark Bennett, one of the biggest names in magic, the guy that runs the largest magic theatre in the whole of the UK. That guy who I went on stage and did the quantum deck, and afterwards he said, that's brilliant. And he didn't have to say that because he was paying me to be there, but he based it on the audience that I was performing for and their reactions. Should I listen to you saying I'm a bad performer? I think I'll listen to Mark, because at the end of the day, like you said twice, you're not a magician. You just like supporting the magic industry by telling people to buy stuff from somewhere else. And then you say you made your own deck after 30 minutes of watching the video, even though you support the magic industry. Dude, this is incoherent crap, man. It really is. Look, seriously, if you want to have a pop at me, why don't you try this? Why don't you try again? Why don't you? Because what you've done here is you've wrote a script that's just terrible, and to be honest, it's given away the fact that you're an idiot. Here's what I'd do. I'd go back to basics. Get yourself a little piece of paper, put it down on the table in front of you, right? And then what I want you to do is think about all of the things that you can say about me that are factually accurate. There's lots of them. You can pick on them. Talk about my fashion sense. Talk about the fact that I only wear shirts like this and black T-shirts. Talk about the stuff that my kid's obnoxious. You know, a few other people have said that. Whatever you want to say. Pick on some stuff that maybe could be considered factually accurate. Write that stuff down. And then what I want you to do is take it and put it in a little post and stick it on Magic TV. And then what I'll do is I'll reply to you and I'll let you know how you've done, because to be honest, this is a fail. Okay, so the next 2 comments kind of came in at roughly the same time. So I'm going to group them together, because even though they're 2 separate people, they basically say the same thing. So Jean Ratatouille and Quang Lu made comments. Now, I'm going to edit some of this out because I don't want to expose the trick, but again, it's about the quantum deck. So Jean Ratatouille said, I made my own deck by purchasing a blank deck, some stuff, and I purchased a 5-hour tutorial from a Chinese knockoff website, which cost me $3. I'm in love. Thank you very much for such a great trick. And then Quang Lu said, great news, the quantum deck is now available for only $3 on a Chinese knockoff website. The tutorial tells you how to construct your own deck. It's simple and inexpensive. Save yourself money. What a great trick. Okay, so both of you guys are basically advocating not buying from the original creator and instead getting it from a Chinese knockoff website. That's basically what you guys are saying, right? So, what have I got to say about that? Well, I'm not turning this into a rant. I'm not going to be the sort of person that's sitting here screaming and shouting. My days of doing that are gone. What I will say, however, is it's people like you that are ruining the magic industry. There are creators, and I know because I've spoken to them, there are creators that have amazing tricks that they are no longer going to be releasing. They have amazing tricks that they have no intention of producing. And the reason they have no intention of producing them is because of people like you. People like you who advocate the idea of buying a cheap knockoff of the original. And it's that sort of thing that's destroying the magic community. It's not me that's destroying the magic community. I'll tell you the thing that's ultimately destroying the magic community. It's those Chinese cheap knockoff websites. Because it's going to stop people. Ultimately, magic is a business, right? It's a business. The reason Murphy's Magic exists is because there's magic dealers. The reason there's magic dealers is because there's magic customers. Guess what? If this continues to happen, then what will happen is the dealers will sell less tricks. So they will close down. When the dealers close down, the wholesalers will end up having no customers. They will close down and the creators won't have anywhere to put their tricks out, and you'll see a massive reduction in tricks coming out. It's just what will happen over the long term. It's people like you are destroying the magic community. And I can tell from reading your post, John, and reading your post, Kwang, I can tell 100% that you are sincere about this. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to seriously have a quiet word with yourself. Sit down and ask yourself, do you love this industry? Do you love this community? Do you love buying new tricks? And if you do, support the creator. Yeah, there's some people out there that release terrible tricks. We know this. But there's people out there that work really hard. You know, you talk about the quantum deck. That took me a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money to put together. Like a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money. I must have gone through about 80 blank decks coming up with the concept. And you could go, well, it's a very simple concept. Yeah, it's simple when you see how it works, but it's not simple when you create it. And if it was, somebody else would have done it. It's a good creator will spend days and weeks and months and years refining a concept until it's ready to come out. And you can tell I do that because I release tricks with big, long downloads. Why do I release tricks with big, long downloads? Very simply because I genuinely think that's the best way to A, give people massive value, and B, it's the best way to prove that this is something that you haven't just half-arsed. I have watched enough tutorials where it's a trick with a 3-minute tutorial and it's obvious that the person that has created it has never performed it once, and it's been bought out for one reason and one reason only, which is to make money. But when you take the products that people have spent time and effort and money putting together and you just cheapen them by buying them from Chinese knockoff websites, that tells me more about you than it does about anything else. And you know what? You guys need to change. People like you need to change. The industry needs people like you to change. This is not a rant. This is not me screaming and effing and blinding at you. This is me telling you, seriously, have a word with yourself. Okay, so the next one is from David619, and David619 says, why do you lie to all of your subscribers on YouTube? We all know you don't run any other companies and you are just sitting at home, broke, with no money and no businesses. Why do you lie to everybody? Wow. Now, this is another one of those things that's just completely and totally factually inaccurate. I mean, it comes back to what I said to the other guys. If you're gonna have a pop at me, dude, at least make it factually accurate. At least make it factually accurate. You don't come around my office. I don't know where you live. I don't know. It's a fake account. I don't know where you live. Come around my office and come and have a chat to all of my staff. Come and have a chat. Come and have a look at the books. Come and see how many gigs we're booking in on a daily basis. Because I guarantee you, between my two entertainment companies, I guarantee you we book more gigs in 1 week than you do in 2 or 3 years. I guarantee it. That's how many gigs we're booking in. Now, if you choose not to believe that, that's absolutely fine. I have no idea why I would lie to people about that, especially as there's so many people who, you ask anyone who's come around the office, Ask anybody. Ask anybody in my company, Non-Stop Kids. Ask anyone in my company, Slightly Unusual. Ask anybody. You know, they'll tell you. Ask around. You know, that's the most stupid. If you're going to attack me, if you're going to have a go at me, this is the most ridiculous thing that you could choose. The single most ridiculous thing to choose, because all I have to do is walk into the office and just shoot a video in the office of all of my staff. That's all I have to do. Like, oh, Craig doesn't have a business. He sits at home. What? It baffles the mind. It really does, dude. I'm one of the hardest working people in magic, right? I am one of the hardest working people in magic because I run 4 companies outside of the 2 entertainment companies. I run 4 companies. I perform. I do business coaching. I do motivational speaking. I perform a lot. I create magic. I'm constantly doing shoots. I'm producing 26 videos a week. Oh, and I've just launched NETRIX as well, which we're constantly updating and refining and changing. But you think that I sit at home doing nothing? That's fair enough. Dude, seriously, come back to me with something. If you're going to ask a question and you're not going to like me and you want to hate me and you don't like me, that's absolutely fine. Come back at me with something that's factually accurate, not complete and total made up crap, because that just cheapens you. It just cheapens your argument and it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so the next one is Hype Train 9. Hype Train, I didn't realize there would be this many of these, to be honest. When I started this video, I didn't realize there'd be this many. The next one is Hype Train 9. And Hype Train 9 has kept it nice and short, which I'm glad, because we've had a few long ones. And Hype Train 9 says, the worst thing that's happened to this industry is your son. He is talentless, he is useless, and for the love of God, please make him never do magic ever again. Cool. Okay, so that's your opinion. That's absolutely fine. It's your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion. My opinion would obviously differ, and the reason my opinion would differ is because he's my son, and I'm incredibly proud of him. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back and watch the very first Craig and Ryland review show. You can go in the playlist, you can look at the very first one, and check out Ryland back then. I think he was 6. And then look at him now, and see how he's improved. See how he's grown. And then go look at his Instagram channel. Go look at his stuff on Instagram. He never gets less than 5, 6, 7,000 views. He gets an extra 100 follows every single day. Now, the reason I bring up how many views he has on Instagram is because most of the people that follow him, they wouldn't follow him if they didn't like the magic he was doing. Do you understand that? Does that make sense? The stuff that he has done at the age of 9 is more than what most people would achieve in an entire career. I have no idea who you are. You made a fake profile. You're scared. You're not. You're not. Your convictions. Your. I've forgotten how to speak. The stuff that you believe in. You're not convinced enough. You're not convinced enough to actually tell us who you really are. So you got a little fake account that you made 3 weeks ago, and that's fine. And I know why that is, because if people knew who you were, you'd be embarrassed, because obviously what you've said is absolutely terrible. So I don't know who you are. I really don't know who you are. But the bottom line is, I'm willing to bet that Ryland, at the age of 9, and only just turned 9, I'm willing to bet that Ryland at the age of 9 has done more than you will do in your entire career. Because here's the thing. There's 2 types of people in this world. There's people who point to others. Well, and there's people who accept responsibility for their own actions. And you know what? I used to be like you. But you got to remember, when you're pointing a finger at somebody, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. And that's the thing. You can point to Ryland and say, oh, that kid's talentless. Fine. Then why is he getting followed by thousands of people on Instagram? Why was he invited to perform at the world's largest magic convention on the gala show? Why was he invited by Alakazam to dem on their stand? They didn't need to do that. If he sucked, he would make that whole thing terrible. So why did they invite him to dem on their stand? That doesn't make any sense at all, to be perfectly honest. Why has he entered the close-up magic competition at the London Magic Convention? Why has he done all of that? Why did Adam Wilber and Vulpine ask for him to go on their project, the Coffee Cups and Beans? They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to ask him to go on their project. and do his cups and balls routine. They didn't have to do that. Why has he got his own residency? Why did he do his first show on stage at the age of 4 in front of 1,000 people? Why has he gone and done weddings and corporates? Why has he done all of this? Why? Why? If he's that bad, if he's the worst thing that's happened to magic, why? Why has all of that stuff happened to him? Because it's sure as hell not that I'm his dad, because I haven't had an impact on that at all. So why has it all happened if he's so terrible? Here's what really is the situation. You see him doing really well. You see him posting videos all of the time on Instagram. You see him going and smashing it at the gala show. You see him putting himself out there. You see him at the age of 9 being a part of magic products, some of the biggest magic products in the world. You see that happening to him at the age of 9, and you feel bad about yourself because you're however old you are and you haven't achieved anything, and it makes you feel bad about yourself. So rather than actually going, you know what, I'm going to use this kid as a source for inspiration. If a 9-year-old can do this, I can do this. I can improve. I can get better. Rather than doing that, the easy solution is for you to sit there and make anonymous statements online that are just factually inaccurate, and instead you just decide to point a finger at a kid. And let's be clear here, all of that stuff you're saying is about a 9-year-old, and to be honest, even just a few months ago, that would have triggered me. I would be here doing a rant and I would have been screaming and shouting, but not now. I don't care, because I know how good that kid is, and I know nothing about you. And the fact that I know nothing about you, and yet you're still making statements that you're so passionate about, just shows me how wrong you are. Basically, what I'm trying to say is grow up. And we've got one final question, and this is from David Starsky. And David, another fake account, 2 weeks ago, this one came up, and he's posted a few things on the channel. And really, like literally in the last week, about 15 things, and I can't be asked to read all of them, but they all basically encompass the same thing, and one of them was framed as a question. So this is the one I'm going to address, and this is the final one. David Skarsky says, why is it that so many magic producers want to work with you when you're a talentless oaf with no skill whatsoever, and you're just not a likable person? So that's what David Skarsky wants to know. Why do people want to work with me when I'm a talentless oaf with apparently no redeeming qualities at all? Well, here's the thing, man. You got to understand the difference between fact and the difference between an opinion. Obviously, it's your opinion that I'm talentless. It's your opinion that I'm a bumbling oaf. It's your opinion that I have no talent, I'm not likable. That's your opinion, and that's absolutely fine. And that's not a problem, but you have to stop confusing opinion with facts, because then you wouldn't even be asking this question. Why are so many people wanting to work with me? Why that answers your own question. Let's just assume for a minute that it is an opinion, and your opinion is that I'm talentless, and your opinion is that I'm terrible, and your opinion is that I'm not likable, and all of that stuff. Let's just say that that's your opinion, and you're not the only person to hold this opinion. We know this from reading the comments out. But let's just say that's an opinion for now. If we just make that an opinion, let's ask the question without that opinion in place. Why do so many magic producers want to work with me? I'm working on multiple projects with Murphy's, multiple projects with Penguin Magic. I'm working on multiple projects with the 1914, with Alakazam, Orion, Vulpine. There's a couple of others that I can't talk about. The list goes on and on and on. Why is that happening? Well, the only reason that would happen, the only reason I'd be working with producers on multiple projects is if, one, the projects that I put together were good and were well received. That's a fact. And two, if I was easy to work with. Because here's the thing, all of these production companies, you want to know the answer. I'm actually giving you the answer right now. You want to know the answer why all these companies would work with me. Here's the thing, you have to understand all of those companies, every production company in the world, they are a business. And it's their business to make money. So if you've ever gone to a magic producer and you've said, hey, will you produce this trick? And they've said, no, I'm not going to produce this trick. And you don't know why, the reason is probably they don't think that they are going to get their investment of time and effort and money back from that release that you've put forward. Now, that doesn't mean it's not a good release. It might be the best release in the world. It might be a really good trick, but it might be that nobody knows who you are. It might be that you haven't got a good profile in the industry. It might be that that gimmick that you've put forward for them to produce is really expensive and it costs a lot of money to produce. And because it costs a lot of money, and also the fact that they don't really know who you are, they don't know if they're going to get their money back, because at the end of the day, it's a business. What companies want to do is they want to work with an artist that they know will produce something that they're going to make money from, because that's how businesses operate. Any business, anywhere in the world, you have turnover. Okay, that's the money that comes in from all of the sales that you do. Whatever the industry is, turnover is the money that comes in, right? And then you have your expenses, and the expenses are everything that you've spent in order to create whatever industry you're in, whatever product or service that you're offering. Those are your expenses, and at the end you've got your gross profits, right? You've got your gross profit, and then there's other stuff that comes off, and then eventually you get a net profit, right? Now, if the expenses of producing a trick are really high, then they might think, well, how many of these are we actually going to sell? Well, we don't know who this person is. He hasn't really got a reputation in the magic industry. There's no quantifiable way of defining that. It's going to be a big investment. Let's not do it. It's why you see a lot of the names coming up again and again and again, because a magic production company will know that if they've released a product with a particular person and that person has released a product that has gone on to sell well, then they will work with that person again. So let's go back to your question, and hopefully you understand I'm actually giving you some business advice here. So let's go back to your original question. Why do the magic production companies want to continue to work with me? And we're taking out the facts, we're taking out your opinion, okay? We're just asking that question. Why do they want to work with me? Well, it could be that I run Magic TV, which has got almost 11,000 subscribers. That could have something to do with it. It could be that I do almost 30,000 hours of watch time a month. That could have something to do with it, because those two factors mean that I've got a big audience that listens to everything that I say. And because I've got a big audience, it means that a lot of people know me. It could be the fact that when I went to the Magic Circle, I got a standing ovation, which rarely happens at the Magic Circle, which kind of says, oh, hang on a minute. That everybody really enjoyed Craig's lecture means that people buy into the stuff that he does. It could be that when I went to the lecture at Blackpool, it was literally standing room only, despite being early in the morning and everybody was probably on the piss the night before. They still made it to my lecture, which tells magic producers I'm a bankable commodity, because I've gone to a lecture and I've done well. It could be that I went to the Wessex Magic Convention, and out of every single lecture that was on at the Wessex Magic Convention, there were more people in my lecture than any other one. Not that the others weren't great; they were awesome. They were absolutely amazing. But that's a fact. That is not an opinion. All of this stuff I'm telling you is fact. It could be that every single product that I've bought out last year was a success, was a profitable product. It could be that two of my products were two of the best-selling products of Alakazam's last financial year. It could be that the Quantum deck is one of the best-selling tricks of all time. It could be that Chop got released 3 weeks ago now and has consistently stayed at the #1 spot for the whole website on Penguin, despite lots of other tricks being released by other companies and Penguin. It has stayed at the #1 slot, as has, I've got, I think, 3 tricks in the top 20 at the moment. The Quantum deck, Chop and Crystallize. It could be any of those factors. I don't know, but the fact is, you look at it from a magic producer's point of view and they go, well, hang on a minute, Craig's done this trick, this trick, this trick. It's all very well received. It could be that I launched NETRIX and in one weekend I had 350 people sign up to be a part of NETRIX. And people are like, oh my gosh, wow, that's really good. It shows that people are interested in what Craig's got to say. It could be any of that stuff. But the fact is, if you want the question answered, why do magic producers continue to work with me? It's because I go out and I deliver. I'm an easy person to work with. I say what I'm going to do. I turn up on time. I do a good job. I do everything in one take. When I go out and do the live performances, I always get a great reaction. It could be that I'm always only delivering stuff that's worked in, that actually people want to buy. And it could be that I've got a really big audience. But I'll tell you what it's not. It's not because I'm talentless. It's not because I'm egotistical. It's not because I'm not likable. Because if I was any of those three things, and as I say, you believe that I am, and that's cool. Other people like you believe that I am, and that's fine. Luckily, the majority of the magic industry don't think that, because if they did, they wouldn't have bought everything that I've bought out over the last year. That's why. You want to release your own trick, and to be honest, I think that's what this is all about. You're bitter because maybe you bought out a trick and it didn't do very well. You put it out through Penguin Magic, didn't you? You went to Penguin Magic and you went on the partner program and you put a little trick there, didn't you? And you went and you sold it and it went on their little list and it disappeared and you didn't sell any, did you? And now you're bitter and you're twisted, and the only way you can make yourself feel better is by saying mean things about Craig. That's what it is, isn't it? Let's be completely honest. Here's the thing. You want to change, do it. If you want more people to hear what you got to say, do it. I just woke up one day and I said, I'm going to set up a YouTube channel. And you know what? Every day for the first few months, I was putting videos out. 1 person watched, 2 people watched, 10 people watched, 15 people watched. You know the difference? You know the difference between people like you and me and other people that go out and put YouTube videos out? People like Michael O'Brien, people like Daniel Madison, people like Lloyd Barnes, Adam Wilber, people like David from Magic Orthodoxy. All of these people, do you know the difference? We never gave up. You just sat there feeling sorry for yourself. You probably put 7 or 8 YouTube videos out and you didn't continue because you just got frustrated that nobody was watching them. I did that for 6 months and I never gave up, and eventually I found an audience. And despite having COVID how many times, despite traveling all around the world, despite gigging, I still continue to put out that amount of videos. And that's the difference between people like all of these YouTubers that have got big accounts and people like you, is you look for excuses. You look for reasons as to why you didn't succeed. I'll tell you why you didn't succeed. It's because you gave up. It's because you gave up too easily. And just when things could have maybe started happening for you, you hit the wall, you gave up, and you decided it would be easier to slag off other people because that's what makes you feel better about yourself. You want to succeed, you want to do well, grow up and actually try. So there you go, guys. That is the alternative Q&A. I don't know whether I'm going to do this again. I promised you it wasn't going to be a rant, and it's not a rant, but I did want to give some love to the haters out there. And I want to say one more time, thank you to everybody that watches this channel. Whether you love me or hate me, the fact that you took your time out to watch me, I really appreciate it. Do you want to see another one of these? It's not going to happen every week, but maybe in 6 months I'll do another one. Let me know in the comments down below. You want to see more videos in general? You know what you got to do. Leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please, if you haven't already done so, go check out the NETRIX. It's www.thenetrix.com. You can go there and you can go and get access to over 100 tricks immediately. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with 4 videos. At 12 o'clock, there's an honest trailer. 2 o'clock, there's a short. 6 o'clock, there's a magic live. 9 o'clock, there's a talk magic with the great Mark Leverage. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.